Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Christopher Stock, and I cover the Miami Hurricanes for Inside the U. And in this video, I will explain my men's basketball postseason awards ballot that I submitted to the ACC for the All-ACC teams, individual awards, as well as the Coach of the Year award. But first off, hit the like button if you like this video, if you like this transparency with my ballot, and also drop in the comments. Let me know who would make your All-ACC teams players of the year. And definitely, what did I get right? What did I get wrong? So let's get right into the All-ACC first team picks that I had. And it starts with Alondes Williams, a guard from Wake Forest. He's the only player in the country averaging 19 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. He also has a chance to be the ACC's only player to lead the conference in scoring and assists. He's also shooting over 50%, and he's been a big reason why Wake Forest has had the big increase in success this year compared to last. So he's definitely an All-ACC first-team pick for me. The next two players I'd like to talk about are front court players who led their team in scoring that I was really impressed with how they performed all season long. They also did a great job rebounding the ball, and that's Armando Bacot from North Carolina and then Paulo Banchero from Duke. Both players are really impressive, had monster games at times, and to me, they're definitely All-ACC first-team picks. The next player on my All-ACC first team is Cameron Mcgusty from Miami, a sixth-year guard who really elevated his play, averaging 13 points a game last season to averaging over 17 a game. I think he's the main reason why Miami has had its success this year. He's had a lot of consistency throughout the season, some big game performances, and scoring at a high clip, and also very efficient. Once again, he's a first-team pick in my mind. My fifth pick on the All-ACC first team is Blake Wesley from Notre Dame. I was really impressed with this freshman wing. He's a guy that came into the program, made a big impact. He's a guy that can score, leads the team in scoring, but also does different things too. And they brought back a lot of guys, but certainly the impact that Blake Wesley has made this year has felt, and that's why Notre Dame is one of the reasons why Notre Dame's towards the top of the conference. So those are my five All-ACC first-team picks. So for my All-ACC second team, it starts with a pair of guys who lead their team in scoring, and also both of these teams are at the top half of the standings, and that's Virginia Tech's Kive Aluma and Virginia's Jaden Gardner. Both guys are really impressive scoring the ball, but also really good rebounders as well, and certainly they help their teams have strong finishes down the stretch, and they both had big-time performances. So the other three guys on my All-ACC second team were secondary scorers and guys that played on very good teams this year, and that's Caleb Love from North Carolina, Miami's Isaiah Wong, and then Duke's Wendell Moore Jr. All three guys had big performances, and also, in particular with Love and Wong, both guys are really good scorers, averaging over 15 points a game. I really like how Wong controlled games at times, you know, with big-time performances in the second half. And Caleb Love did the same thing. There were times where he was bottled up, but he had these big-time performances and really led the Tar Heels to some good wins throughout the season. Both of those guys were really good. And then Wendell Moore Jr., an all-around performer. He averaged 13, 5, and 4, shot over 50% from the floor, also really good on defense. So Moore also deserves to be on that All-ACC second team, and that rounds out my first 10 selections. So for the All-ACC third team, I'm not going to lie, this was very difficult. There were a lot of guys that I did not have in these final 5 picks that had good individual seasons. But once again, like I said at the beginning, I paid a lot of attention to the guys that played on successful teams. Although, starting with Buddy Boeheim at Syracuse, which didn't have a huge year, right in the middle of the pack of the ACC, but Buddy was one of the top scorers. He actually currently leads the ACC in scoring, over 19 points a game, deadly from three-point range. And for me, I have him as an All-ACC third-team pick. Another guy on my All-ACC third team is Wake Forest's Jake Laravia. Really impressed with his all-around performance. One of these guys that came into the program, scored the ball at good numbers, and I really like how he performed as a secondary option from Alondes Williams. And the dynamic duo between those two guys, and I think Jake certainly deserves to be an All-ACC pick this season. Notre Dame was led by Blake Wesley, but early on in the year, it was Dane Goodwin, a senior guard who did most of the scoring. He shot the ball really well this year, and I have him as an All-ACC third-team pick. I thought he was impressive throughout the year. He kind of struggled a little bit down the stretch, but overall, over 14 points a game, a really good year for him. So he's on my All-ACC third team. One guy who was really strong down the stretch with a number of big-time performances was North Carolina's Brady Manic. Really impressed with this transfer forward from Oklahoma, can drain threes, rebound the ball, bring some toughness to the team. And I really like how he performed. So that's why I've got him as an All-ACC third team pick this year. So I also have Miami point guard Charlie Moore as an All-ACC third team pick. Charlie transferred in from DePaul, really impacted the program, really solidified that point guard spot. He dished the ball to Mcgusty and Wong, hit some threes, obviously the half court against Virginia Tech, and he also played solid defense, second in the ACC in steals right now. So he's my All-ACC third team pick. Okay, so we also got to vote for the all-defensive team. It's only 5 guys. Let's go a little bit quicker with this one. So it's Duke's Mark Williams and Wendell Moore Jr. I like how both of those guys performed. Williams leading the ACC in blocks, and Wendell Moore Jr. held opponents to under 35% shooting when he was guarding them. So I like his performance as well on the defensive end, as well as that all-around offensive game. So the other 3 guys on my all-defensive team starts with Rhys Beekman at Virginia, just an all-around defensive performer, leads the ACC in steals. Virginia, one of the top defensive teams in the country, the top defensive team in the ACC by a lot of metrics. So I've got Beekman in there for my all-defensive team. Another guy I have in there that I mentioned earlier, and that's Jake Laravia from Wake Forest, just an all-around defensive guy. He can get steals, get blocks, rebounds, really good positional defender as well. So I have him there as well. And rounding out my all-defensive team is another guy that's an all-around defender, and that's Hunter Couture from Virginia Tech, a guard, really important to that team success on defense. And that's where a lot of these guys that I have on the all-defensive team, they all played for pretty good defensive teams. So I thought that was important as well. I am excited about this next group. It's the all-freshman team. And once again, we picked 5 different guys, and all 5 of these guys have bright futures in their own individual careers, but also they are very important for their team success moving forward. And I think these guys can be the face of the ACC moving forward if they stick around at their schools. Let's start it right off with Paolo Banchero from Duke. Really impressive, led the team in scoring. Duke wins the ACC regular season title. Banchero was a huge reason why, so definitely he's on there. Another guy on my All-ACC first team is Blake Wesley from Notre Dame, so obviously he's going to be on my all-freshman team. Another guy on my all-freshman team is NC State's Terquavion Smith. Had a big scoring performance throughout the year, averaged over 16 points a game, and also was draining threes. So he's definitely one of those guys to watch for moving forward. He had a really good freshman year. Another guy with a really good freshman year is Florida State's Matthew Cleveland, a guard forward, a versatile guy on both ends of the court. He gets it done. I like what Cleveland's done all season long. He's averaged in double figures, which all 5 of these guys have done. And my 5th guy is Trevor Keels from Duke, a very strong guard who can score, but also gets it done on the defensive end, particularly with his steals. And certainly he's had some monster games starting off with his college debut. Okay, let's wrap this up with some individual awards. Let's start with the ACC Freshman of the Year, and it's Paolo Banchero. No surprise there. He might win this award unanimously, although Blake Wesley has been really impressive too. My Defensive Player of the Year this year is Duke center Mark Williams, doing it on the defensive end with his blocks, also disrupting a number of shots, getting rebounds, and Duke has been very good defensively this year, and Mark Williams deserves to be the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, according to me. So for the ACC Most Improved Player, I'm going back to NC State, and it's going to be Darion Sebron. Very impressed with his season this year. NC State did not have a good year, and that's why he wasn't on my All-ACC team. I know he's going to get votes, and he could certainly be an All-ACC selection. But once again, for me, it had to do with winning, and they just didn't do it. But Sebron had a huge year, jumps from 5 points a game to over 17. Certainly a good year. Leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. I was very impressed with him, and he definitely has a bright future with the improvements he's already shown. So I had a little difficulty with the ACC Sixth Man of the Year, and that's because Matthew Cleveland from Florida State, he did start some games. He wasn't truly just on the bench, and he played heavy minutes that you typically don't see from a bench player. But certainly I'm still giving him my vote because of his big year. He came off the bench most of the season, and when you look at the other Sixth Man of the Year award candidates, many of them started some games as well. So my vote definitely goes to Cleveland in this one. So for my ACC Player of the Year, there were a lot of high-quality candidates for this award. I feel like a number of guys are going to get votes. But personally, my vote goes to Alondes Williams from Wake Forest. Once again, the things he's doing this year from a points, rebounds, and assists standpoint, as well as impacting winning and shooting over 50%, that is the reason why my vote goes to Alondes Williams for Player of the Year. Wake Forest was 6-16 last year, 23-8 this year, really impressive. And I think he's the main reason why Wake Forest has had the success that they've had. He was really good, had some really monster games throughout the year. To me, he's the ACC Player of the Year for this season. And for the Coach of the Year, certainly a lot of coaches deserve credit, especially those teams at the top of the conference. A couple of them, Wake Forest and Miami, were not expected to be good. Notre Dame certainly had a resurgent year as well. And then Duke with the Hall of Fame coaching career of Mike Krzyzewski in his final season, wins the ACC regular season title. But once again, my vote definitely is going to Steve Forbes at Wake Forest. And once again, it's because of that change from 6-16 to 23-8. Really impressive coaching performance by Coach Forbes. So that wraps up my All-ACC ballot. Like I said before, definitely drop below in the comments. Let me know what I got right, what I got wrong, and how did you see it? Who would make your All-ACC teams? But thanks again for watching. Hopefully you have a good rest of the day and enjoy the rest of the college basketball season, and take care.